Oh boy. Yesterday, I got there on Instagram. Now I see that the freeze. We post something. Say, touch not my anointed, but this one at TB. Now that they talk about how we know they touch this case, now we don't know. According to say, I was saying TB Joshua not doing it. So I went on Twitter. They find everywhere. I'm not see. Now somebody nice send me for comment, send me direct message for Facebook here. Say, oh boy, BBC don't do documentary about TB Joshua. So I went to read about it. The documentary is going to be released today. They are going to release them in segment. Part 1 is coming out today. But let me tell you what happened in documentary. I'm going to this one loud. I'm going to break down. It's going to be a long read. I'm going to come in between the reading to explain each accusation, how them go. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. The British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, is poised to release a 3-part investigative documentary outlining the alleged atrocities and crimes committed by the late pastor Temitope Balogun Joshua, widely known as TB Joshua. Joshua passed away on June 5th, 2021. As part of the investigation, the BBC interviewed at least 30 former members and workers of Synagogue Church of All Nations. The first segment of the documentary is slated for release on January 8th, which is today. The 3-part documentary exposes the covert lifestyle of the deceased Synagogue Church of All Nations founder, detailing instances of abuse, harassment, manipulation, and staged miracles. Sources informed the BBC that although the church was aware of all the allegations, they never investigated them. They allege that the crime spanned over 2 decades. Part of the documentary reveals how Synagogue Church of All Nations shielded its congregation from the truth about the collapse of one of the church's guest houses in 2014. A video repeatedly shown to members on Emmanuel TV depicted a brief clip of the structure with what happened to be an aircraft flying over it. Synagogue Church of All Nations is situated in the Kotunegbe area of Lagos State and grew from a local evangelical church into a multi-million-dollar establishment with worshippers from around the world. Emmanuel, a former worker at Synagogue Church of All Nations, revealed to the BBC that the narrative about an aircraft was entirely false. He asserted that the church building had a structural defect. Additionally, Ray, a British woman who attended the church, was a disciple, corroborated this claim. She added that despite professional advice against it, Joshua insisted on raising the building, which had an inadequate foundation for its constructed floors. Following the tragedy, Synagogue Church of All Nations compensated victims' families with cash, which some interpreted as hush money. Sources revealed that TB Joshua instructed a church worker, part of the team distributing compensation in South Africa, to advise grieving families against speaking to the media. Allegedly, Joshua personally threatened families who refused the money. The building collapse is a prime example of life under TB Joshua. It's a series of cover-ups. This incident was so significant that it was nearly impossible for him to conceal, Ray said. The BBC investigation also discovered that individuals were dismembered under the rubble and diseased bodies were transported in Synagogue Church of All Nations ambulances to shield the true extent of the disaster from the press, protecting both the church's image and TB Joshua. For those who don't know what it means to be dismembered means say, person wey don die, you cut his hand, cut his leg, cut his head, divide am like say you wan sell meat, come pack am for bus, carry am go God knows where. That is what this accusation is saying now. That first and foremost, they told the pastor that the building is not correct. The construction work done on the building cannot stand. But he insisted that they should continue with the building. Now they continue with the building collapsed. The people will die too plenty, and they don't want to make people know say, okay, the people die like this. So they have to share some where put them inside an ambulance belonging to the church and took them to God knows where. So the people, when they announced for us what actually happened, is said to be more than that. Let's continue. Exploitation. Survivors of TB Joshua's sexual exploitation recounted how they were manipulated and silenced, even when aware that the relationship they had with daddy was abusive. These women were part of TB Joshua's discipleship. Multiple women shared their experiences of being molested and slept with by him. Some women who initially resisted his assault were threatened into submission, as revealed by one of the women in an interview with BBC. According to all the women, TB Joshua justified his assault by claiming it was for their salvation. These women joined the synagogue as teenagers and endured years of abuse before finally leaving. Abisola, a woman who spent 14 years in the church, disclosed that she was falsely slept with throughout her stay. Additionally, when these women became pregnant from the assault, they were coerced into having abortions at a squalid clinic within the synagogue. One of the women recounted her experience. We went into his room and I stood there. He said, "Off your clothes." So I removed my clothes. He just pointed, so I lay down. And then he forcefully slept with me. He broke my virginity. I was screaming and he was whispering in my ear that I should stop acting like a baby. I was 17 years old. I was underage. One survivor managed to escape and confronted TB Joshua, recording the encounter in videos shared with the BBC. In the video, a security officer was heard threatening to shoot the woman. Survivors detailed being targeted, beaten, and shot at by suspected thugs associated with the pastor. What is it with pastors and sleeping with women? What is it? Why will they hear this accusation left, right, and center? What is it? Faye Daniel still here. They never release her. Fato Ibo, they don't accuse and tire. Many pastors, and this accusation keep coming. I would hear now say, one of your own daughter, don't accuse her before, don't challenge her over this matter, so they expel your own daughter out of church. One of the daughter want to get out of wedlock. What is it with pastors and women that swear for now? Let's continue. The BBC's documentary uncovered how the church orchestrated, managed, and exaggerated miracles showcased on televisions. Individuals were instructed to amplify their problems for healing, and likewise their healing was exaggerated to appear perfected by God, according to a source from the miracle department interviewed by the BBC. I remember one time when one miracle happened for church, when TB Joshua, they argue live with Lucifer for inside church service. They bring one woman come out. The woman says she be Lucifer. So you come and say, okay, Lucifer don't possess this woman. Now be some more argument between Lucifer and TB Joshua that you. Where are you from? The woman say, I am Lucifer. You destroy my kingdom. You small voice. I'll find that video. Play for her. He was arguing with Lucifer, saying, man, what type of kids is this? But the people will sit down church buyer. He gave a call, order Lucifer to come. Lucifer said, they come. Later, the woman must go, people clap. I call the look, I've been and me the grace. Because this nonsense, the skits is not adding up. Now, somebody from the miracle department, now they tell us now that miracles were being amplified. You know what that means? It means, for example, if your finger they pain you, when you walk on to the testimony, or when you walk on to the miracle, or you say that your hand might disappear. When pastor pray, now your hand appear for finger when they pray. That's what it means to exaggerate something. You go explain like go big past the way it really be. Let's continue. Great question. How is somebody like that permitted to walk free? You've got this man who positioned himself as a father to many children and went on to forcefully sleep with, abuse, and molest all those people who call him daddy. Rachel joined the church at 17, hoping to be cured of homosexuality. Another segment of the investigation delved into how TB Joshua mistreated and ostracized his daughter born out of wedlock. Ajoke, now 28, revealed to the BBC how she confronted her father about abuse, allegations, and was subsequently expelled from the church. She recounted experiencing isolation and indoctrination and admitted contemplating suicide. In March 2023, Mail Online reported that an aristocrat, Constance Martin, allegedly groomed by TB Joshua, spent time in a compound near Lagos, Nigeria, as a teenager. The report detailed how Martin was subjected to stringent controls, including staying in a dormitory monitored by armed guards, enjoying biblical readings, and being forced to address the leader as daddy. The compound where Martin was detained gained attention after her arrest, along with her partner, in connection with the death of her child, Victoria. Reports indicated Martin's affluent background and revealed her association with the Synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos, Nigeria. Former members described instances of humiliation inflicted by the controversial pastor on Martin and other white people at the compound. Martin later reached out to the individuals, expressing confusion and trauma from her past experiences, seeking to understand what had happened to her. In April 2021, YouTube suspended TB Joshua's channel, Emmanuel TV, following controversial remarks about homosexuality being linked to demonic possession. Martin's ex-partner, Francis Agolo, reflected on her time in Nigeria, noting a stark change in her demeanor after her experience, describing her as caring and loving before, but withdrawn and distressed thereafter. Martin previously shared her ordeal of living among 50 girls in a religious cult, emphasizing the leader's influence over their lives by dismissing their families and asserting himself as their sole father figure. You know what? TB Joshua don't die, but we forget this gist. I have a problem with people who come to speak out after the person who committed the crime is either dead or after it all blow. Once there's a crime, tell it. Stop telling us that you will speak when you are ready. When the person died, now you know if he defend himself. Because it was sweet if TB Joshua they alive when these matters they happen. Personally, I don't like TB Joshua. I don't agree with her. Things I watch on TB Joshua are not Christ-like. You know what my colleague Waymout was not 2010 or 2011. He won AY's Open My Comedy competition that time. So, as with the paper was taken, I was in that competition. You know, somebody could give him 100,000 straight that time, man. $1 was about 150. $1 never reached 150. 100,000 was about $1,000. So today we're talking about over 1 million. Now somebody give her cash. Out of the happiness, when the guy come down, he call his papa, say, "Daddy, see what's going to happen." His papa tell her, say, "Waiting he want her to do for him." Now to give him TB Joshua picture and anointing on here. So we went to a cartoon. Baba then they said TB Joshua picture for that church. If not for road, because then I boys they use a hustle. Inside the church, the picture was for sale, very expensive, and I said, "No. This is not what Jesus stands for." How can, because normally, for you to understand that so a pastor is actually not called by God, you need the spirit of discernment. But TB Joshua, we don't need the spirit of discernment. We don't need that. The things he does not work. How can you be interviewing Lucifer in church? Lucifer. Come on now. Are we that gullible? The quest of miracle don't enter many people head there. But now TB Joshua is not here, so he cannot defend himself. So whatever documentary we like, we do. The best that can happen is that we'll be destroying his name. But he will not be here to defend himself. And even if it's true, there are so many people that will not believe it. Someone will arrest this matter. Next time, if somebody do something there, more than do the documentary and the investigation when they are alive. Not when he don't die, go and nothing defend himself. When I call they come up with guy, so kind of documentary and investigation. Someone will believe what he will not know, what the person will be judge. You don't cut a man's head in his absence. So next time, wait, when the person is alive, do anything you want to do. This one don't do take.